Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks every day. Every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Fifer. Served up by Wendy's on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. Download the Wendy's app today.
It is that time again as we broadcast live right here from the Wisconsin State Fair. Come on out, say hi as we're broadcasting from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Steve Sparky Fifer with you. Charlie Husen back in the studio. Charlie, how are we doing today?
Doing all right. It's a good day. Like I was telling Mitch before, it's nice to be inside today, actually, compared to the past couple days. It's hot out, and immediately when I got in my car, I was sweating. So I'm glad I get to be in the air conditioning side of things now.
Yeah, it's not too bad. You know, the nice thing about being under this Odyssey tent out here, right by the Expo building as you walk in, is I'm shielded from the sun. So, like, when the sun has been out, I have no fear of the sun. It doesn't bother me at all. And for the most part, the sun has been kind of hiding behind the clouds out here at Wisconsin State Fair. So it's really not too bad out here. Lots to see, lots to do, lots to talk about on today's show as well. Let's get to everything we have to talk about. First off, coming up on today's show, we're going to have our guy Jerry Augustine, right? Former Brewers pitcher, former analyst for the Milwaukee Brewers. He'll be joining us coming up at 2:40, and I have lots to talk with Augie about, right? I got to talk about Chris Hook, the Brewers pitching coach, and what makes him so special as far as dealing with these pitchers. We got to talk about the Brewers starting rotation and what makes each one of these guys so good. And I understand there's concern about Freddie Peralta right now, and I get it, right? The concern isn't the ERA. The concern isn't the fact that he's an all-star. The concern is that if you're a front guy, you know, you want that front guy to go 6-7 innings so you don't have to use that bullpen every time he pitches. And Freddie has only went 6 or more innings, I think, twice the whole season. And last night, again, the struggle was real to get him through 5 and did his job, and the Brewers got a comfortable victory last night. And I know it's been talked about earlier today on, you know, the Mason Crosby show. It was talked about on Thunder show before us. And I think it is definitely something worth watching. But I want to pick Augie's brain on, you know, the likes of Mizorowski and Priester and those guys. And then the back end of this bullpen and what it looks like for these guys and as much work as they're getting. I mean, again, yesterday, having to get all these dudes up and getting them ready, even if you don't bring in a guy, but an Abner Uribe has to get up. Jared Koenig is up, and Mears is in the game, and everybody's having a pitch. Every night we're going through this. Like, you'd like to see these guys get some type of a rest here at some point going forward. So we'll talk with Augie about that coming up at 2:40. At 3:20, first time, I think. I don't believe we've ever interviewed him. Charlie, have we ever interviewed this guy before?
I don't believe so, not as far as I can tell.
No, and I came across him because I read JS Online, and John Stepp, who's covering the Badgers football team now for the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, he's going to join us, him and Mark Stewart. There's 2 of them covering it. We've had Mark Stewart on several times. But we're going to talk with John coming up at 3:20. He's been out in Platteville covering Badger football practices, and we'll talk to him about what does Billy Edwards, the new Badger quarterback, look like? What about some of these wide receivers? How is that looking? Do they actually have a tight end that can step up and have a big season for this Badgers team? So talk with him at 3:20. And then, of course, lots of Packers talk mixed in with some Brewers talk as well. We're going to start off with the Brewers this segment. The next segment, like we do every day, we go over the training camp practice report of what happened earlier today at Packers training camp. So yesterday was another one of those days where Andrew Vaughn comes up to bat, and I'll have Charlie play this highlight. Andrew Vaughn comes up to at bat in this game with a couple of runners on second and third. And you already had a guy score on a wild pitch, an infield single. I mean, Yelich didn't really hit a ball all that hard either. Vaughn comes up second and third, and it's funny. I told you the other day I called the 3-run homer. Very proud of myself for Isaac Collins. So last night, Andrew Vaughn comes up. Now runners are on second and third. They were loaded. Kay looks at me. She goes, "Oh, he can't hit a grand slam now." I was like, well, okay, maybe not, but he can still do something driving some runs here. Let's not get all down in the dumps because he can't hit a grand slam all of a sudden. So Andrew Vaughn comes up. Did he hit a 3-run homer? Not exactly.
Do here on pitch 12. And Vaughn, a base hit to left. One runs in. Yelich trying to score. The throw from Profar is late. Andrew Vaughn. Yeah, what an at-bat right here from Andrew Vaughn.
He is, I don't know, man. Like, I was on the Score a couple weeks ago, going into that Cubs series or whatever else, talking with those guys about the Brewers. And I brought up Andrew Vaughn and the Aguilar 36 home run season in 18, and they laughed at me. Oh, come on. He's not that guy. Da-da-da-da-da. Okay, fine. I mean, I don't know how much more longer this can go on here, Charlie, before people start really all in, buying in to Andrew Vaughn. I mean, right now, as we sit here today, I think we are all in agreement. He is the starting first baseman for the Brewers next season because Augustin's contract is going to be up. He's going to be the starting first baseman for this team.
Yeah, pretty easy. And I think when it comes to playoff time, he's going to be the starting first baseman for this Milwaukee Brewers team. Even if Rhys Hoskins is healthy when he comes back at the end of August here, if he still comes back at the end of August here, because we still don't really understand what his timetable is. If Andrew Vaughn is still the guy that's getting a majority of those days at first base, I'm going to be pretty happy about that. I think that kind of solves one of the questions that we had about how we keep him in the lineup. I think the answer is Rhys Hoskins gets less playing time.
The other part about this is when you get to the postseason, like you said, with Hoskins and Andrew Vaughn at this moment in time, who's at first, who's at DH? Because remember, there's that whole Christian Yelich conversation to have too, right? Christian Yelich is a guy they've been keeping healthy all year long by playing him in that designated hitter role. You saw him in the outfield yesterday and getting some run in left field. I would imagine once you get to the postseason, Yelich is going to have some time in left field, and they're going to use that designated hitter role for somebody outside of Christian Yelich at this point. And if Vaughn continues to play this way, I mean, I hate to break it to Rhys Hoskins, but Rhys Hoskins might be actually the odd guy out come postseason time if Vaughn's playing well and if they want to keep those outfielders playing, right? So if they want Churio in there every day, they want Frelick there every day, and they want Isaac Collins, and you want Yelich, that means Hoskins and Vaughn are both not playing in the postseason in the same lineup. One is coming off the bench. As we sit here right now, waiting for Hoskins to come back at some point in early September, Andrew Vaughn's playing every game at first base, and Rhys Hoskins might be the power guy off the bench at this point, Charlie.
I think I like that. I think if Rhys Hoskins is your pinch hitter in these clutch situations, that's what he did really well in Philadelphia as well that season when he was coming back from that injury and they were going on that World Series run. He was a huge part of those clutch moments later on in those games. And I think that's something he could be useful here for the Brewers too. And I think that what he's done with the Milwaukee Brewers so far has kind of cemented what kind of contract he's going to get. So if he doesn't play in the last couple of months, if I'm Rhys Hoskins, I'm not going to be that mad because I think some team is still going to pay me a decent amount of money this offseason when the Brewers decide not to let you keep him.
He's Charlie using Sparky Fifer with you out here at the Wisconsin State Fair. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, weekday afternoons 2 to 5 here on The Fan. You can watch us on YouTube as well. Just search The Fan Milwaukee on YouTube. You can also stream us on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. If you're looking to listen to your favorite podcast, we're everywhere you want to be. We're on the iHeart app. We're on the Odyssey app, TuneIn app, Spotify. We're Apple. Wherever you want to listen to your favorite podcast, we're everywhere you want to be. The question on the table is this. If you had to describe this first place Milwaukee Brewers team to someone, what would you say? If you had to describe this first place Brewers team to someone, what would you say? Facebook or Twitter at The Fan Milwaukee. Nicolay Law Fan Talk and text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. And where did I get this topic from? Well, I'll tell you where I got the topic from. I got the topic from because I was being petty last night, Charlie, I guess would be the best way to do it. Yeah. After the Cubs lost again, I went on Twitter and I just searched Cubs. And I started going and looking at all the angry responses and people mad at the Cubs. People saying if they miss the playoffs, they need to fire the trader. Even though they extended the president or whatever, they should fire him too, and everybody all mad at the Chicago Cubs. Then I came across something that I saw that I thought was kind of interesting. Let's see here. Where is it? Like one of the tweets. Sam says, I can see it right now. Last series of the year, Reds in Milwaukee, Brewers lay down for Cincy, and they pass the Cubs on the final day, that's where my head is. So Sam Olber, who does Locked On Cubs podcast, is pretty much laying it out there that Brewers will have the division wrapped up. Reds will be competing for the Cubs for the final wild card spot. Brewers will roll over and play dead for the Reds, eliminate the Cubs, and the Reds walk in the back door, Charlie. That would be a nightmare, I would assume.
Yeah, that sounds about right, though. That sounds about what's going to happen for this Cubs team. And the way this Brewers team is playing right now and the way the Cubs are playing right now is spelling that out clear as day. I think when you look at this Milwaukee Brewers team, they just seem so much more confident than the Chicago Cubs. And I think that's where I'm seeing the big discrepancy between these two.
No doubt. And then Tapping the Keg podcast, I don't know if you ever check that out. They do a really good job over there. This was the tweet. I may have cracked the code of the Brewers are lucky nonsense because there's been a lot of talk about the Brewers just get lucky, right? Errors, wild pitches, whatever, fluke plays that are happening that's leading to this Brewers hot streak that they've been on now for, a month and a half, 2 months? Tapping the Keg says, I may have cracked the code on the Brewers are lucky nonsense. Does it come down to the fact that they put more balls in play than most teams? They don't have a ton of Russell Branyan types where it's walk, K, or home run. Therefore, they put so much pressure on those teams' defense. I think that is a really good way to kind of put it at this point. Larry tweets at Tapping the Keg and says, this style of play is Major League Baseball totally befuddled. Bunts, stolen bases. It's a brand of ball rarely played anymore. Amazing. I mean, that is kind of how you would describe, I think, this Brewers baseball team. If somebody was asking you, tell me about the Brewers. I haven't watched them this year. Other than I know they're in first place, but how do they get there? I think that's a pretty good way of describing it, Charlie.
I think so, too. I would describe them as video game-like. That's the way I would do it. I think last season we watched this Brewers team, and a lot of the things that they're doing this year, they were doing last year, but in a smaller sample size, and it was more old school, I would say. What they're doing this season, the way that pitchers are just coming to this team and pitching amazing immediately, the way Andrew Vaughn just found something and clicked, and it now looks like one of the best first basemen in the entire major league. I think all of that kind of shows me that they just know what they're doing. It feels like one person is controlling this team. One person is just out there and making sure everybody's hitting the ball. It feels like MLB The Show almost. And that's why I think it befuddles the rest of the league.
Yeah, and it is, again, they're playing it a different way than everybody else is playing it. Let's go to Ram on the north side. You're next in the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line here on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's at the Wisconsin State Fair here on the Fan. Sparky with you. What's up, Ram?
Hey, what's going on, Sparky? I zoomed in and saw you guys live, and I was like, Sparky. I was like, I want him to calm down a little bit. That's what I told myself. And what we're going to focus on is the Brewers making it to the NCLS championship right now. Because what I see, I watched them on TV last night, and it's funny, each time I watch them, it seems like they may be down a couple runs, and I sit down and take a couple bites of the sandwich, and they're just playing old school baseball. They're not trying to swing for the fences. And they got speed on the bases. And this pitching is just, wow. I mean.
Yep, wow. That is exactly how you describe this pitching.
When they go into the bullpen or whoever, and it's the young kid they got, he's a stud. He's a stud. Let's accept that. That's what he is. He's right up there with Otani, Shotani, those guys. He's right there. But I want to say this. I think that they done shocked the league by the way they play. And if they get runners on the base, the pitchers and the catchers are nervous. I mean,
yes.
I mean, that's what I see, Sparky. I
yes.
See, okay, my question is right now. Let's just talk about how this is going to look September going into October. That's where I'm at right now. Because the older guys, they can rest. And let some of the young guys play.
It won't happen. It won't happen, Ram. I'll tell you why. Thanks for the call. This is why it's not going to happen. Because when the trader was here, Council, when he was the manager, and they had that big lead a few years back, and he did that, right? Like 2-3 weeks ago, maybe the whole month of September, when they had that big lead, he did what you said, which is he started resting players, right? He making sure everybody was going to be healthy for the playoffs and so forth. And what happened? They got to the playoffs and laid a huge egg. And after that, he was like, we're not doing that again, right? We thought we could do it. We thought it would be okay, but they couldn't regain the momentum. They couldn't regain the energy that they kind of had going up into that point because they weren't playing for anything. They were so far out in front, they weren't playing for anything. Last year was a similar situation for the Brewers. They win that division over the Cubs by 10 games. Murphy didn't pull off the foot off the pedal at all. He kept playing to win every game all the way through. It's not going to be any different this year if, and again, that's a big if, but if the Brewers are out in front again by, 5, 7, 10 games down the stretch, I don't expect them to rest anybody. I guess maybe Yelich, right? Maybe they'll get a day off here or there so you can play somebody else at DH to get them some at-bats. Maybe from that perspective, the rest of these guys, Cherio's going to be coming off of injury here in the next couple of weeks. Frelick is like day-to-day nursing along his deal. So a lot of these guys are getting rest now anyhow. Maybe not the way you want them to get rest. Hoskins hasn't played for a minute, so he needs to get back into his groove. So some of these guys need the at-bats to get, kind of working up that lather, getting that sweat going again. So you're in, as they would like to say, mid-season form heading into the postseason. Not shaking off a bust of rust, not having seen a pitch in a week or 2 weeks. So you don't want to put yourself in that position. I would be shocked if they went the route of resting guys down the stretch, outside of maybe Yelich, Charlie.
I would probably be shocked, too. At the same time, a lot of these guys have gotten playing time this season. We've even seen the bench players get a lot of playing time. Anthony Siegler's played a lot more this year than I thought he would. The only one that hasn't played as much is Andrew Monasterio. He hasn't been on the field as often, and I thought he would be because Pat Murphy loves him some Andrew Monasterio. It's one of his favorite players for some reason. But you've seen a lot of these guys get run. You've seen the bullpen get a lot of run this season. The starting pitchers, we've seen 8 different guys get into that starting rotation at some point this season. Again, not in the best circumstances, but we've seen people start to get that sweat going like we're talking about. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't rest anybody, but I also don't think I'm going to be surprised if they do decide to rest people if this division is all locked up.
Right, and that's the thing, too. If you would have told somebody, I don't know, May, early June, that we'd be talking about whether or not they're going to rest guys down the stretch, that we'd be having that type of conversation about having that type of lead
I think we'd
in
be
this division.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. People would have said, what are y'all smoking before you get on the radio? What is wrong with you all? But, hey, man, here you are. You got the hottest team in baseball. They're the 1 seed by a significant amount right now in the NL. 4-game lead sitting here on the Cubs, and that 5-game series looms large for the Cubs for certain, starting on August 18th, because if the Brewers win that series, if they go into that series 5, 6-game lead, whatever it may be, Cubs are going to be in a position they're going to have to win like 4 or 5 to stay in this thing, and if they don't, it's going to be curtains for them. And the other thing is they also have to look back at the Reds, who are a couple games behind them. Cubs are the number 1 wild card right now, barely, but they were only, 3 games up, I think, going into yesterday on the 4th place team trying to get that 3rd wild card spot. So they've got a lot of things to worry about outside of just trying to catch the Brewers in the division. I saw a picture yesterday of the trader just pulling his hair out in the dugout with his hands in his hair as things were melting down again on the Cubs. And it really does look like they're kind of collapsing at this point. So from a Brewer fan perspective, my response to that is, everybody settle down, man. There is a long way to go. Everybody has just got to chill out, man. They can get just as hot as the Brewers are, and the Brewers could easily go stone cold, and all of a sudden this is going the other way. Scott tweeted at Sparky Radio talking about how would you describe the Brewers. It's pitchers throwing strikes, great defense, great base running, good at-bats, which includes your point of putting more balls in play. Strong bullpen. This team does everything well except hit for power. And if we're being honest, they've been hitting for power since the All-Star break pretty well at this point, Charlie.
They've been
not even since the trading deadline, really, yeah.
Well, and before it, too, you saw them start to get going. We saw a Christian Yelich start to get his back going a little bit that month before the trade deadline. Jackson Churio, before he got hurt, was starting to get going a little bit. It was more in contact, but you saw the power starting to come along, too. And then, like you said, since the trade deadline, William Contreras has been on a tear. Andrew Vaughn has been on this streak as well. This is really exciting to see from this Milwaukee Brewers team. And as we keep watching them this season, yes, I think there's a chance they could implode maybe. There's a world where that happens, but I'm not thinking about that right now. I was thinking about that last year when they were starting to get hot. I was thinking about, when's Craig Temper coming back around? Even though he's not the manager anymore, when's it coming back around? And this year, I just don't have that same mindset, which is giving me a lot of confidence with this team.
He is Charlie Usen, C. Sparky Fifer here. Coming up on the other side, we are going to talk about Packers training camp, what happened up in Green Bay earlier today. Jerry Augustine, former Brewers pitcher, he'll join us coming up here at 2:40 as we talk about this Brewers baseball team, best in baseball, and this Brewers unbelievable pitching staff as well. Augie will join us coming up at 2:40. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM at 105.7 FM at the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, out here at the Wisconsin State Fair, right by the Expo Building entrance, looking over out at the Milk House. Time now for your fan weather forecast. 85 degrees and mostly cloudy skies right now out here at the State Fair. And looky here, Charlie. No air quality alert for the first time in forever. First time in forever, no air quality alert, huh? How about it?
Hallelujah.
Yeah. Finally. How about it? All right. Low of 67 tonight. Welcome back, Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the Wisconsin State Fair out here by the Expo Building entrance, looking out at the Milk House. C. Sparky Fifer with you, Charlie Usen back in the studio. Jerry Augustine, former Brewers pitcher, will join us coming up at 2:40 as we talk about the first-place Brewers and their dominance, really, going back for the last month and a half, 4-game lead now. On the Trader and the Cubs in the NL Central. It's been a beautiful thing. So we'll talk to Augie about the Brewers coming up here in about 12, 13 minutes. Earlier today at Packers training camp practice, you got to see Jordan Morgan out there again against Lucas Van Ness. Jordan Morgan again getting beat by Lucas Van Ness. So there wasn't nothing special to see there. Saw Rashid Walker out there a little bit doing his thing. You're seeing some competition going on between the wide receivers and the cornerbacks. Carrington Valentine matching up with Romeo Dobbs. So this is the thing. You know, Matt LaFleur gets all mad about extracurricular stuff or whatever else. So Dobbs, according to what I saw, beat him, I think, twice. And then on the third one-on-one, Valentine beat him and started dancing over him. Now you wonder why this stuff happens. That's how that stuff happens. And he didn't even win 2 out of 3, Charlie. I mean, is that just the way of a cornerback? I win 1 time out of 3, and now I'm going to dance? Is that just the cornerback mentality that, hey, I finally won one? Is that what we're talking about here?
Yes, that is 100% what it is. I think realistically, though, for most cornerbacks, you are only winning 1 out of 3 reps. It's really hard to play cornerback. It might be the hardest position in all of sports. And when you are out there and you can beat a player that bad, or you feel like you dominate him that bad, they feel pretty confident, and those guys have some of the biggest egos out of any athlete I've ever met. So even if they're not even close to a play and a wide receiver doesn't catch the ball, that's a win to them, and they'll celebrate it.
No doubt about it. Bo Melton, who Charlie thought it was a joke, I don't take it seriously back in OTAs and mandatory minicamp when he was running with quarters. And then we get to training camp, and they're like, he's a corner now. Okay, cool. Hey, today, Bo Melton had a pick against Sean Clifford, right? Bo Melton broke up a 2-point conversion pass. Bo Melton had himself a day. And as Ryan Wood of the Green Bay Press-Gazette pointed out, Bo Melton's been running with the 2s, Charlie. Bo Melton isn't running with the 3s anymore. Bo Melton is running with the 2s, Charlie. That, as Ryan Wood pointed out, this is about as good as it's going to get. If Bo Melton is going to be a contributor at corner and be at least average corner and be able to play special teams, that is a huge win for this Packers roster when making decisions.
I think the reason he's probably running with the 2s is because Nate Hobbs, is hurt, and the next sixth corner that you have is Corey Ballantyne, who you just signed off the street, and a guy that you weren't even going to bring back on this team. So I think it's more a situational thing that he's with those 2s. He's still playing well. He's still at that position, which is a good sign for him at that spot. But I also don't take any of this with too much.
Here we go again. He's just not wanting to talk about Bo Melton at corner.
Who did he pick off today, Sparky?
Well, Sean Clifford. But what does that matter?
Sean Clifford isn't exactly Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers out there. He's not exactly even Jordan Love or Caleb Williams out there.
Details.
It matters. I think, yes, this is exciting to see him keep playing. I think the more important play is him breaking up that 2-point conversion. I think that's where we'll probably see him, especially if it's like a fake field goal, fake extra point. That's where he's going to be playing that cornerback position. That's really cool to see and hear. That means he can be a focal point of that defense in those 2-point scenarios.
Yeah, and, the other thing, too, about this, when we start talking about what this is looking like for training camp, you get your first exhibition game Saturday night, Packers and the Jets. And Matt LaFleur still has not said how much he's going to play as starters. We had a guy on talking about the Jets yesterday at 4 o'clock. They tend to think that Justin Fields is going to play along maybe with some of their starters. Now, for how long they're going to play, we don't know that yet. But it's Aaron Glenn, right? He came from Detroit. I would be shocked if he doesn't play his starters for a couple of series in this first exhibition game, trying to build some confidence, especially if the Packers don't run their 1s out there. The Packers run their 2s out there against the Jets 1. He wants to build confidence with that offense in Justin Fields. I would expect them to play. I would be very excited, and we'll talk more about starters playing and really what the value is to that coming up at 4 o'clock in our Green and Gold update brought to you by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. But for me, I would love to see one-on-one. Let's see the 1s match up. I want to see Matthew Golden against starting corners for the Jets. Give me that. Let me see what that looks like at this point. That's a benefit, I think, for this Green Bay Packers team, getting these young guys matched up. Let's see Jordan Love drop one in there 50 yards down the field on a starting corner on the Jets. I don't care who the ball's thrown to. It could be any of the receivers. But the Packers should also be in that type of deal right now of, okay, if we're going to change the offense around a little bit this year, we're going to do something different, we're going to attack things differently. It doesn't have to be super, complicated. It can still be vanilla. But to start just having this offense buy in a little bit, because, again, like we've been talking about, the defense has owned this Packers offense in training camp. Packers defense has owned this Packers offense. So the Packers offense go out, do something against this Jets defense, I think would be a good thing, trying to stack some successes here going into next week.
Definitely, because the Jets' defense is a pretty talented group. I would say that I'm really excited to see a Jordan Morgan go up against a Quinnen Williams for a series.
Right.
That would be really cool. I want to see what Jordan Morgan can do against somebody that's not Lucas Van Ness. So right now, we're not seeing a lot of great stuff or hearing a lot of great stuff about what he's doing against, slower competition. So maybe in a real game setting, he plays with a little bit more intensity. That's what I'm looking for here. I don't really think it matters how long the Packers play their starters in this. I would prefer that they play them for like a whole half maybe. But at the same time, this is a game that I think is more important for the Jets at this point in the season because their starters are a lot closer to their second and third stringers than the Packers are. It'd be cool to see them play their starters, but I'm not really expecting it.
Well, the other part about it, too, is you have a new coaching staff. We talked about this yesterday as well. The Packers have a huge advantage here. It was yesterday, right? We had Bruce Murray on.
Correct.
From SiriusXM, and he was at the Packers practice doing his show, and he had John Kuhn as his co-host up in Green Bay yesterday. And he agreed with me. The huge benefit the Packers have right now is they come back intact with all their key players, whether it be coaches or players, still on this roster. Vikings have an inexperienced quarterback. There's going to be a learning curve there. Bears have a new coaching staff, and the quarterback struggling early with what they want out of him at the quarterback position. The Lions have 2 new coordinators, and everybody you talk to about that all say expect them to take a half a step back without Aaron Glenn and without Ben Johnson. So the Packers sit in a prime position to start off the season going the right way and having an advantage against the Lions maybe right away in week 1 because there very well could be some communications on offense with a new coordinator. There could be communications on defense with a new defensive coordinator calling plays and what they want to do and not having really coached against this team to this point. I think that is an advantage to the Packers when you look ahead to week 1 against the Lions, Charlie.
It 100% is. But also you have to remember that this Lions team last season was historically one of the best offenses and a pretty solid defense last season too. So yes, you have to go in with a little bit more confidence than I think you did last season. But at the same time, you can't discount this Lions team too much just because of 2 new coordinators. The talent on the field is all the same, and that's still a really good roster.
And we're going to find out really how much of that was Ben Johnson with Jared Goff. I tend to believe it had a lot to do with it because I'm not a big Jared Goff guy. Hey, here's a sign: never skip breakfast again. Wendy's breakfast biscuits are just $1. Your choice of a buttermilk biscuit with grilled sausage or bacon with egg and melty cheese, or even the Honey Buddy with juicy chicken and maple honey butter. Bring the napkins. For just $1, you can't go wrong unless you forget to add the delicious seasoned potatoes or the warm, fluffy French toast sticks or even the ooey gooey Cinnabon. Come on, start your day the right way with Buck Biscuits at Wendy's, and don't look back. Limited time only. Coming up next, Jerry Augustine, former Brewers pitcher, will join us, talk about this great team that we have in the Milwaukee Brewers. Best team in Major League Baseball, have a 4-game lead on the Cubs in the NL Central. We'll talk to Augie straight ahead. Wisconsin Sports Daily served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook here at the Wisconsin State Fair. Welcome back. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Live from the Wisconsin State Fair, right here by the Expo Building entrance, looking over at the Milk House. As I've been saying since last Thursday, the root beer milk, money. Not going to find anything better than root beer milk at the Milk House. And it's $1. Why not go over there and take advantage for it? Okay, so joining us now on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law, who coincidentally enough is also sponsoring the Milk House. Joining us is Jerry Augustine, former Brewers pitcher and Brewers analyst, joins us here on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's on the Fan. Jerry, how are you doing?
Doing well, doing good. What a great day to be at the fair, a great day for baseball.
It is a great day for baseball. Isn't every day a great day for baseball? It's like, Jerry,
Yes.
I'm a huge Brewers fan, but man, I was like, I don't know, like going into depression or something during the All-Star break, not having any Brewers baseball to watch every night.
It is. You start seeing a team that's playing as well as the Brewers. They come out there, they're so much fun, so fun to watch, and they're a little bit different than they have been over the last few years. And you've seen this ball club since the days of probably when Craig Counsell first started taking over, building up that type of baseball where you have good pitching and have solid defense. Now we're seeing an offense that has really taken a big stride. Now you got a full-fledged of three parts of a baseball game that you want to play real well. Their pitching has been very good. Their defense has been one of the best in baseball. And offensively, they are putting up some special numbers right now.
But wouldn't you agree that Pat Murphy kind of changed the identity of this team last year when he took over as far as pushing the envelope with stolen bases, bunting, doing more of the fundamental stuff that you used to see back in the 80s and bringing it back to today's modern day of baseball where, the advanced stats and stuff like that may poo-poo it. He kind of really changed the way they were playing.
Well, he brought a full generation of baseball back. He said there's nothing in the game of baseball, whether it was played back in the early 50s or even before that, then we can come up and use the things that they do today by having the home runs and the things that you have to do. But, you look at this ball club, it's made up of two things. Number one, on the defensive side and the pitching side of it, they make every team they play earn their runs. Every team that scores against them, you have to earn it, and you better go out and you earn it because that's the only way you're going to score against them. And then on the offensive side, rather than worrying about the home run and doing those type things, they're manufacturing. They're going out and running the bases well. They're stealing bases. When you look at where they are as far as manufacturing runs, they do a lot of games. They score a ton of runs without hitting that home run. It's just about putting the ball in play. That's one team this team has done very well. They don't strike out. They put the ball in play, and they hit the situation.
Talking with Jerry Augustine, former Brewers pitcher here on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's out here at the Wisconsin State Fair. See Sparky Fifer with you on the Fan. All right, Jerry, I want to get your thoughts on this because you've had numerous pitching coaches during your time being a pitcher. You've coached numerous pitchers along the way as well. So what makes Chris Hook so special? How does he, as my buddy calls it, turning water into wine consistently for this Brewers pitching staff?
That's a great analysis, but he does. And the one thing I've known Chris for many years, I remember working with him a little bit when I was doing Timber Rattler baseball games on TV. Chris Hook was a pitching coach, so I got to go up many times early in the afternoon and work with pitchers and see the way he works. I think the one thing that is so good about Chris Hook, he believes that you not only have to teach a guy about pitching, you have to talk about mechanics, you have to talk about the mental side of baseball, but you have to know who they are personally. And I think his personal relationship that he develops with the pitchers really has a lot to do on how good they are, because he understands what different pitchers have different characters. They go about the game a different way. They think differently. And that relationship that he has with them really has a lot to do with the way he approaches it. It's not that, hey, I'm going to take your best pitch and I'm going to make it the best pitch you have. No, it's about taking the best pitch you have and seeing the style of pitch you are and build it into your personality. So I think the one thing that's really good about Chris Hook, he takes you what you are as a baseball player and he puts it into you personally. And when you combine those, that comes into success, and we're seeing that a lot with the Brewer pitching staff.
When Jerry Augustine looks at Freddie Peralta, you see an all-star. You see a guy with a great ERA. But If Jerry Augustine had advice for Freddie Peralta getting through more than just 5 innings on a game-in, game-out basis, because he's only been through 6 or more, I think, twice this year, what would the advice be?
Well, I think sometimes what Freddie does is he has those situations where I think every once in a while he gets a little bit rushed. And Freddie's not your typical tall and fall type guy. A tall and fall type guy is a guy who has a short strike, gets his hand in a good spot to throw every time, and releases the ball to home plate. He's more of what they call a duck and drive, who really extends out towards the plate. And every once in a while, I think he gets a little bit rushed. I think the one thing with Freddie, I think he throws across his body a lot. I might change that a little bit, have him more go directly at the plate. And the second thing is really when you get up to the most important thing about pitching is your balance point. Being up at a place where you can get the ball out of your glove and get it at a good spot so you can release it home plate. Make sure that he gets to that balance point and he gets it there and he relaxes so he can let the ball go backward before he throws it forward. And when he gets that on a consistent basis, he is really good. But every once in a while he gets a little bit rushed. Just to calm down, slow the game down a little bit, and Freddie's just fine.
Jerry, what about the theory of pitching to contact? Because I feel like Quinn Priester kind of is maybe more pitching to contact than maybe Freddie Peralta is, but I'm not an expert. You are. You tell me.
Well, I think the one thing about Priester has learned to change himself a lot. The one thing that when he first came up, he was known as a sinker ball pitcher. He was going to throw the ball down, his fastball down, high fastballs, and hopefully get a lot of ground balls, and that's what he was known as when he came over to the Brewers. But I think the one thing that Chris Hook did with him really well, he got him to that most important part, like I just told you, is that balance point. And when you really when you hit your balance point, from right there, it's about releasing the ball back and getting into a good throwing position before you go forward. And I think really that's been the key for him. It looks like he and Chris have been working a lot at it. We see it after some of the starts that he's had. He and Chris are sitting on the sidelines, and you can actually see him going through the motion of being able to get that arm in a good spot. The one thing that has made Priester so good, his release point is identical on his fastball, his breaking ball, his changeup, and everything else he has. And when you have that same release point, very difficult to pick up pitches. And really, by him getting that good balance point, getting that ball in a good spot to throw the ball to the plate on a consistent basis, makes that release point consistent and makes him that much tougher to hit.
Talking Jerry Augustine, former Brewers pitcher here on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's out here at the Wisconsin State Fair on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's here on the Fan. Okay, so let me take you to the next pitcher that I'd like to talk about, which is the guy that everybody wants to talk about, Jacob Misiorowski. I don't think there's any questioning how talented he is physically and how hard he throws and so forth. What about the mental side of things? And I think you can include Priester in that conversation as far as how long does it take at the major league level to catch up to the mental side of things when you're breaking into Major League Baseball?
Well, I think on Priester's case, he's gone through that because he's been in the big leagues before, and he's been up and down, and he's been struggling with himself, trying to find those special places to be to have a good delivery. And once he got that good delivery, now mentally he's strong enough where he says, I know I can throw the ball where I want. I know I can put the ball in good spots. I have my good sinker, and I'll be successful that way. He throws strikes, he gets ahead, he doesn't walk people, and that's his strength. And you see him throw a lot of ground balls. I think Miz is a little bit different. I think Miz had to go through a lot before he came up here, and we all know he had great talent. I mean, his upside is just enormous, what he has with the talent, with the quality of pitches that he does have. I think the mental start of it is where he's going to grow and grow and grow as each time he goes out. I think what the Brewers are doing with Miz right now, they're saying go out and pitch to your best of ability. All the hard work we put on with you in the minors, you go out and you try to do the best you can. And what you're going to let him do, they're going to let him develop himself a little bit this year. They're going to let him just go out and pitch. He's going to learn. Not everything's going to be great. Some things are going to go a little haywire, but we'll see how he battles back like he did the first game when he battled back, and then when he had the bad outing against New York, he battled right back and got back right in the groove. That's where I think they're letting him go this year. Once the season's over, they'll have a nice breakdown, and they'll find to say, here's what you did during the season. Here's the things that we think you can be better and be one of the best pitchers in baseball. How do we combine them to help you out for next year? I think that's where the growth is going to be. starting next year.
Quintana gets the ball coming up tonight for the Brewers. They've made mention on the TV broadcast on FanDuel Sports Network that Quintana and Mizorowski have been kind of joined at the hip here since Mizorowski has come up. Talk about how valuable that is for a Miz to be around a guy that has been through it all at the major league level in Quintana.
Well, I think when you got Quintana, who's been able to make such great adjustments, you take a old style pitcher and he stays his way, being his old style pitcher by a lefty, sinking the ball away, changing speeds, and then going hard in and using his breaking ball effectively. But we also seen Miz last time Woody pitched. If you remember when Woody pitched, he went to the sidelines after the game was over. He went on his iPad and started looking at the game. Who was sitting right next to him? Mizorowski.
Yep.
And that's the way I think when you got guys like Quintana, you have guys like Woody around, this is where Miz is going to say, oh, I see what you're doing. I see what I can do to be better. That's that mental part of the game that I think he's trying to indoctrinate right now. And once the season's over, they're going to put that all together and say, here's what we need to do for next year to make you the best pitcher in baseball. And it's going to be fun to watch. But I'm going to tell you what, he is fun to watch right now because he's just so talented, and he just goes out there, and he's been really, really good. He's been throwing strikes, and hopefully that will continue.
Talking with Jerry Augustine, former Brewers pitcher, here on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's here at the Wisconsin State Fair. Jerry, let's talk about the back end of this bullpen. Obviously, McGill has been amazing. I think one of the bigger stories has been the transformation and the consistency right now from Abner Uribe, who last year was emotional and I would say immature, to what we've seen this year, which is almost dominant at times.
Yeah, you see, well, from the beginning of the year, Abner Uribe what was he? He was a slider ball guy.
Yep.
He'd throw a slider. He could throw it, if he made 15 pitches, 10 of them were sliders, and he had excellent control of it. He was really dominant with that control, and he did a nice job with it. And then we see him go a little bit longer where he lost a little bit of the control on the slider. He started using his fastball. He throws at 100. Now we're seeing him starting to throw sinking fastballs. I think this is a part where Abner can really become a really good pitcher if he can put it all together. He's going to go through some growth and saying, how do I use all my pitches? I have a plus slider, I have a plus fastball, I have a plus sinker. How do I use that effectively to get people out? And I think that's the biggest thing that he's going to fight through right now, because he's putting it all together is not easy to do, but putting it together to where it's effective is really fun to do, because now you can get guys out with any one of 3 pitches. Now I have to go and take that hitter's strength and make it a weakness, because I can throw whatever pitch I want and I can throw it for a strike.
Jerry, what's the biggest challenge Pat Murphy has right now? I mean, this team has been playing so good for so long at this time, but you're at 49 games left to go into the season. You've climbed to a 4-game lead on the Cubs. Last year, you won this division by 10 games. You have a 5-game series looming coming up on the 18th, and realistically, by the time that series is done, if the Brewers play well, the division race might be over by that point. So what are the challenges Pat Murphy has right now, the remainder of the season?
I think the biggest challenge is just to stay where you are right now. Is don't make anything. Let the guys have fun. Let them go out and play. Don't make anything too much of it. The one thing that Murph says, one of his favorite sayings is, you don't coast uphill. And I think he will be like that for the rest of the year. He knows that it takes a full year, and when you get to the playoffs, sometimes it can get that much tougher. So he wants everybody playing well as long as they can. And I think that what he does, he allows the kids to go out and play and be successful. And when they're not successful, he'll let them know that they're not successful. But at the same time, does it hinder how he plays them? No. It's just saying, hey, this is what you have to do to be better. And I think if he stays with that attitude the way he is right now, relax, let them have fun, let them go out and play, challenge them when they need to be challenged, but also understand you don't coast uphill. It's a full 162 games, and they got a tough part of the season left. When you look at the next 2.5 weeks, and then the month of September is not going to be easy, so they can't coast. They have to go out and play good, consistent baseball. I think that's his number one challenge.
This may not be the most talented team we've seen in the last 20 to 30 years, but it might be the best, quote, team we've seen.
By far. I don't think I remember. Back in '82, that was an outstanding baseball team, because everybody was focused for not even the first 25 guys. We'd probably say the first 35 or 40 guys were guys that were called up and sent down. that team was really focused on going out and being the best you can be and never give up. You're not going to be great every night. Forget about it. Come back the next night and play really well. I think those characteristics that we had in 82 are a lot the same what this team has today. They don't worry about what's after the game is over. They know what they've done. They can evaluate themselves. And now what they do is they come back the next day and they play real hard. This team has a unique ability of having everybody doing something positive. And I've never seen a ball club that has had a group of guys like this group, whether it be the top 26 or the guys who come up from the minors. Everybody's focused on doing the right thing and being the best they can be. And I think that's a major success why this team is so much fun to watch.
There you go, Charlie. You have it right there. Jerry Augustine says this Brewers team is like the 82 team headed for the World Series. Get your tickets. Thanks, Jerry. I appreciate you coming on.
Oh, great being with you. This club is fun. They got a big series coming up this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Love it. Thank you so much. There he is, Jerry Augustine, former Brewers pitcher, joining us here on Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. And of course, he joined us on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. I think the comparison Jerry made there to the 82 team to this team, because, again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you this is a more talented team necessarily than the Braun Fielder teams or even the Yelich, Kane teams and so forth. Maybe they don't have that type of high-end talent one way or the other. But as I pointed out to Jerry, I think it's the best, quote, team that they've had in quite some time. And then Jerry went there and compared it to the 82 team that he was on that went to the World Series. So from that perspective, you know, it gives you that reassurance for people that are dreaming of this might be the year that maybe it's not so far-fetched like people are talking about right now, Charlie.
I don't think so. When I was watching that 1982 Brewers documentary, Just a Bit Outside, I had this just feeling of excitement for that team, even though I knew they were going to lose the World Series. Just the way they talked about how that team represented Milwaukee and how all the people that were in Milwaukee were just behind that team and had that kind of connection with this team. I kind of feel that this year. I feel like the city of Milwaukee is really behind this Brewers team right now. I feel like there's a lot of love between the team and the city. Maybe not as much as in 1982 when the players were out in the city drinking with fans and stuff afterwards.
Partying
That's a little
up.
different.
Yeah.
But the way Pat Murphy talks, the way that the players interact with each other, and the way that they talk to the media, sounds like they're all from Milwaukee, and sounds like that they all are embracing Milwaukee. It just feels like Milwaukee baseball, and I think that's what I feel the connection to the 1982 team the most.
You know, there are things that you like, right? You like to inject a personality into Andrew Vaughn for interviews after games. Like, that would be fun because he is just so – we'll play some Andrew Vaughn at some point today, but it's just so just flatline, no emotion, no just blah, 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 blah.
But he's
blah,
going
blah, blah,
he's
blah,
going
blah.
to work. That's what he does. That's what I think of.
Man,
Midwest
I come to
people.
work every day. I got more emotion than that.
Your job is to have emotion. Your job is to be on air and be Sparky. Be
Yeah,
that
but when
type
I'm
of
off
energy.
the air, I'm the same screaming, yelling guy off the air. I'm pretty sure y'all can attest to that.
He's head
More
down,
swear
go to
words,
work.
but yeah.
He's head down, go to work with his lunch pail. And I think that's what represents the city the best.
Yeah, I don't care. He doesn't have to talk to the media at all if he don't want to. You hit 40 home runs in a year, Andrew Vaughn. I don't care if you talk to
Damn
us or
straight.
not. Just go be a superstar. You don't have to have a great personality. And again, I mean, another guy that was kind of like that was Michael Redd. I mean, there wasn't a lot there with him either. Every time he talked to the media, you were kind of just wasting your time listening to talk about nothing. But again, you know, really good basketball player, so you were okay with it. It was fine. This Brewers team is really good, y'all. I mean, I'm just telling you. I mean, you can sit there and try and poke holes in it and try and find weaknesses and so forth, and I was doing that at the deadline, and I was furious at the trade deadline. They didn't get a power bat. I'm still not necessarily happy about it, but as I said then, and I'm going to live by, which is I'm going to root for this team the rest of the way out. Like, I don't want to talk about that missing power bat one way or the other. I just want to root for this team, hope I'm wrong, hope it doesn't come back to bite them in the butt, and they just continue to get on a run. I mean, seriously, every time Andrew Vaughn does something, I laugh in my house. I just laugh like, oh, my God, it's still happening. Like, I'm just waiting for it to stop, and it's just not stopping. Isaac Collins, same thing. That dude just keeps going and continues to produce time after time after time again. And it's not stopping. And Cub fans are waiting for it to stop. Cub fans are waiting for this to stop, right? It's going to stop eventually. It's going to stop. And when it stops, the Cubs are going to get hot. Maybe it will. Maybe the Cubs will get hot. But I'm telling you right now, it doesn't look like it's stopping. And it hasn't stopped for about 2 months now. Brewers are looking good. Brewers are looking like they're the best team in baseball right now, which very well should mean a World Series. We'll see if it happens. Coming up next, we'll hear from Matt LaFleur of the Green Bay Packers. Straight ahead, Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, the Fan Studios. Powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook out here at the Wisconsin State Fair. Speaking of the Potawatomi Sportsbook, they're hosting your fantasy football drafts at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Now, this sportsbook is 6,500 square feet. It's 2 levels. That second level has a private elevator that goes up to it. You can host your fantasy football draft, right? Your whole league, 14 members or less, right there on the second level. So you're looking straight ahead at the wall of TVs, including the 2,000 square foot screen TV. Now, I know. All right, Sparky, what do I get if I bring my football league there? What do we get? Well, smorgasbord of food. You each get 3 drinks. You get the draft board. You get the stickers. You get a podium for up there on the second level to make your picks at the fantasy football draft. And you have the best place in Wisconsin to watch any type of sporting event right there in front of you. While you're doing your fantasy football draft, go down and make a couple bets. Maybe you pay off your entry fee by the time you leave because you had a couple bets at the sports book. Go to Potawatomi.com/sportsbook. Potawatomi.com/sportsbook. To get more information on how to get your fantasy football draft right there at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Back after this, we'll hear from Packers head coach Matt LaFleur here on The Fan.